We're joined to talk about right now by the retired Air Force General Charles Wald. Welcome, General. What's your view, first of all, before we get to some of the latest developments that Kelly reported on how the president has gone about this in terms of, attacking these alleged drug boats head on? I mean, it's more aggressive than we've seen certainly in past administrations. What have you made of the decision and the execution?
Well, actually, I think the execution is pretty good. Just as a kind of a background, this is normally a Coast Guard mission, although it's a long ways from our coast, and it's a long ways for the Coast Guard to go. But in the past, the Coast Guard has stopped these boats. They shoot the engine out, the boat's dead in the water, and they go down and get on the boat and find out what's on it, if it's drugs or narcoterrorists. So I think the idea that we're stopping this is a good idea. I think it's not to use a pun, but I think it's a little bit overkill right now. I mean, the amount of firepower we have off the coast of Venezuela in the region is about as much as we had when we started in Afghanistan in 2001. So it's a lot of firepower. But, there have been points made. Senator Graham, who I know, he's a former Air Force lawyer, makes the point these are, it's an attack against our country. They're killing our people. But I do think it might be a little bit of overkill. But I wish personally that Congress and the White House would have deliberations to talk about this. But I think in the mean, I think it's the right thing to do.
The other thing Senator Lindsey Graham said, he was on one of the Sunday shows over the weekend, is that this idea that there could be a land component of this is a real discussion. Here's Senator Lindsey Graham on that.
You don't need an aircraft carrier to hit drug boats. Are land strikes planned?
Yeah, I think that's a real possibility. I think President Trump's made a decision that Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, is an indicted drug trafficker, that it's time for him to go, that Venezuela and Colombia have been safe havens for narco-terrorists for too long.
All right, what about that possibility of land strikes, General Wald?
I think that would have to be, in my estimation, that's something that Congress and the White House needs to deliberate on. I think it's the right thing to do. There is a law about that out there. We had some relief of that during the Al-Qaeda days when we were after Osama bin Laden, but I think that would be a stretch to go forward without congressional discussions and deliberations.
That was the president, that comment stood out to a lot of us. Let me play it again from last week when he was talking about, with the drugs coming in, and then we'll talk about in a moment what he said about the Congress, which you'll hear part of here as well. This was President Trump again last week when he was being asked about all of this.
The drugs coming in by sea are like 5% of what they were a year ago, less than 5%. So now they're coming in by land. The land is going to be next. And we may go to the Senate, we may go to the, Congress and tell them about it. But I can't imagine they'd have any problem with it. I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country.
There you go. No declaration of war. We're just going to tell them what we're doing, and this is what we're doing. We're killing people bringing drugs in. What did you make of that explanation from the president?
I think the first part of his explanation was really good. I think the last part where it was almost flippant talking about killing people, that's pretty serious, obviously. And, he puts a lot of people in a tough spot. I mean, in the military, we took an oath to the Constitution in the United States, and if there was an order we didn't think was either lawful or moral, then we could decide to step aside. You've seen the Southern Command commanders decided to do that, and I'm not sure it was all directly related to this issue, but I do firmly believe that in the tradition of our military and the Constitution and in our country, what we stand for, that if we were going to put a land force in there and invade a country, we need to have deliberations.
General Charles Wald, thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming on.